what's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're bringing it back to Psych with their second film, which was just released to Peacock TV. It's Psych 2, Lassie Come Home. By the way, there are different tiers on Peacock, and you do not actually need premium to watch this movie. You can see it for free, without commercials even. Well, more or less. They played something like 3 minutes of commercials before the film, and then the entire movie played out commercial-free. At least for me. It might be different for you. I'm not sure. I am just happy that we got to see these two guys play Shawn and Gus again. So, I don't know. What do I know? So let's indict this review and put it into the history books. And let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day. Indict, make up, or compose. Psych 2, Lassie Come Home brings Lassie back home after suffering a gunshot wound that has left him bedridden after suffering a stroke. He hires Shawn and Gus to look into his case, which he claims to be seeing all kinds of weird things, like the ghosts of his own father. The guys band together to look into it while their significant others don't want them to, because reasons. First of all, it is very good to see these guys again. I know I just reviewed the first movie, but I had already seen that movie when it came out in 2017, so I still wanted to see something fresh here, and for the most part, that's exactly what we got. Psych 2 feels very much like the TV show still, and I was partially worried about that. One thing that I wanted them to fix this time around was the editing. No more fade to black moments to make room for commercials, you know? Make it a movie. I think it cut to black maybe once, and that's it. And they did it pretty naturally so that it didn't feel like an obvious cut to commercial moment. So that's good. The other thing that I wanted them to fix for the second film is to give it a better reason for there to be a movie. Make the situation more cinematically dire, I guess. Again, check. The first movie had something to do with somebody breaking into Juliet's partner's house and shooting it. It just seemed like a typical episode problem. This one's more grounded. Obviously, you got Lassie back, which is fantastic. Even though the man suffered a stroke and doesn't fully feel like the same guy, it is nice to see him again because it feels like family. And because his life was put into danger, that's when I felt the direty of the situation again. It made sense to me to make a movie about it, which is perfect. What else can I say about the movie that's good? Honestly, I don't know. I think that for the most part, other than that, it mostly feels business as usual. Everything else that you would come to expect from the series and the movies, you get it. So to me, it's like the first Psych movie, just technically better in a few areas. Technical being the key term. What about things that aren't so technical, like the areas that we're biased with? At that point, I think we're going to be talking about comedy. And I think the comedy worked a little bit better in the first movie. And while we're at it, I think the comedy worked a little bit better in the show. Look, I think anything that these guys do is gold. They have the best chemistry. They are truly brothers, and never not funny, just sometimes funnier in other moments. Shawn has completely retired his fake psychic tics, and heck, he's not even claiming he's a psychic anymore. He's just being a detective at this point, and as much as I like the characters, and I do, the concept is what made me watch the show in the first place. Shawn's over-the-top, bouncing-off-the-wall persona is what kept me watching the show, and neither of those things were really in this movie. He uses his abilities like twice, and it was mostly just an acute observation thing. I can't even remember the last time he used his photographic memory skill on top of that, which also made his character shine as unique in the show. Thankfully, you don't need it all to consider it Psych, you just need the characters, and thankfully it does have a lot of that. To be honest with you, my end score is going to reflect that I think it mostly feels exactly like the first movie, which I scored 74%. But my bias and unbiased scores are basically switched this time around, saying that it was made better technically than how I personally felt about it. That unbiased score is 80% because, like I said, it was made a little bit better than the first movie, but because the film felt mostly the same as the first, other than that, the bias score is just 70%, averaging out the two scores to 75%, 75 out of 100 possible stars, granting this film with a letter grade of C. Again, 75% is just 1% higher than the last film. That had to do with how it was technically made better, but I definitely think if you're going for laughs, watch the first movie instead. I don't know. I'm a fan of the series, so I have nothing terrible to say about it. I just think it could have been made better. That's all. Guys, let me know what you think about Psych 2 over on Peacock. Are you getting the streaming service? Are you looking forward to it? If you've seen it, let's hear your thoughts. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review, because there's more like it coming out. Hit the thumbs up button, because that always helps out my channel. And don't forget about the little bell, because that'll help notify you when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.